ask the question on compartmentation. So my question to maybe Manu or maybe to you, Avnish, will be when you are planning for evacuation in a hospital building, especially, what is more key? How do you do it? Is it horizontal evacuation or vertical evacuation? That's what you plan and design for.
So basically, compartmentation is horizontal evacuation, right? I mean, I think the safest and the easiest is to, if you can, your occupancy allows you to evacuate them horizontally. That's the best thing to do. Next step would be vertical. And vertical evacuation, of course, with fire lifts, ramps, we do not have the luxury to provide these days, of course, because of the space constraints, especially in urban areas. I mean, for that matter, even in rural areas, it's difficult because the land parcel is not available of that type to have that luxury of providing ramps. But fire lifts in terms of vertical and horizontal is my always the first preference to move one set of people to the other to one.
Joseph, ma'am, you have something to add?
Just on a lighter note, the architect plans horizontal and our protocols will be vertical. That's exactly what is happening in most places. Even though compartmentalization is there, you end up putting your protocols that take them to the ramp, probably to another building or to the assembly area.
Any other question? From the back. Okay, please.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, everybody. So we have all these stringent norms, guidelines. We have the architect working, consultant working. We have the clients, promoters in place, but still a small gap is.
Please speak loudly. I'm not able to.
Just keep the mic clearly.
Yeah, okay. So we have all stringent guidelines now. We have the architect consultants working towards the guidelines. We have promoters, clients ready to follow, but there is a gap. Where I see from the department, fire department, who issues the NOC and CC. So why is not that not addressed?
May I answer this question? Okay. It will be better because there no one is representing fire department here. Being a fire officer, I will take this question. When you visit a building, and for the NOC they are visiting a building, there are so many buildings they have to cover in a day. Like each of us, they are already loaded or overloaded. So they do a sample inspection. So during that inspection, like earlier I was working for Delhi Metro, I do get some input from the Delhi Fire Service that they need to provide a sealant on the cables, or there is a shaft that should be fire rated seal there. So it depends on the inspecting authority, but it is being addressed and captured by our local fire services in general.
May I add on?
Yes.
I think it's just impossible for the fire services to check everything. So we have to go the self-declaration way. And the moment that comes in, people will become accountable. If I have to sign on behalf of my hospital that I am abiding by all the, the drawings, everything, I'll be very careful. So I think our agenda has to change. Just hardly 3-4 people in every fire department coming and inspecting some 150 high-rise buildings is just impossible. So we now have to go the way of self-attestation. That is the only thing that is going to protect us. I think all of you policymakers will have to really insist on self-declaration, self-attestation and accountability.
Just to add one last point. So the same thing applies for the police and the citizen. Police is there to stop the crime, but the citizen at the first step, if they don't commit the crime, the police is not really needed to stop. It's the same thing. If everything is being followed, the fire department is only there for the firefighting in case it happens.
Thank you. Thanks a lot to all the panelists. 101 now.
And I can ask one?
Condition of light. I forget to tell you.
Okay. My question to again the designers, as per the National Building Code, if I'm not wrong, the height for the hospitals are limited to 30 meters.
No.
So
It's 45.
Anyway, 45.
It's in table 7.
But
It's
there
45.
are buildings available in India who are more than 45.
Of course they can go.
I will not. In case they are more, what do you recommend? What things should be above and what should be below, especially with related to the critical patients?
Hello. Yeah, see, again, National Building Code restricts the usage, right? Above 30 meters, the critical care patients are not allowed. It is worded in a way that whether, IPD beds are allowed or not, it's in a gray area. So if I'm doing a project in Delhi, probably I'll not give IPD beds over 30 meters, but other states, I'm able to still navigate by putting IPD beds above 30 meters, but for sure, operating rooms and critical care beds we're not providing above 30 meters. But I think this needs to change, especially in light of the fact that, the requirement of beds, as you talked about the occupancy, hospitals are not today designed for 80% diversity and all that. We should plan it for 100% because of the
I
need.
have to stop, and now I exercise.
We should take this discussion.
Now I
after
exercise. Now I exercise my right of moderator. I will not take any question. Panelists are not allowed to answer. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So now I would request Anas Rizvi sir, President-elect, to please come up.